Hello everyone, glad you could join me tonight. So after watching season 4 episode 2 of The Legend of Korra, I thought it would be an interesting idea to share some of my thoughts on the episode and provide a really brief analysis. So starting with the title, Korra Alone. From this title, we can assume that this episode will give us the background information on what Korra had been doing for 3 years. We assume this episode will talk about Korra, of course, her beliefs and her struggles, her feelings, and generally how she is recovering from her injuries, and Korra's general state of mind. What I like about this episode is that it blends Korra's backstory, so what she's been doing for 3 years, along with what she currently is doing. So this episode recalls the past along with the present, and this builds general momentum for our main storyline, and it builds momentum for the plot. So this is interesting. We learn about the past while also progressing towards the future, well, the current, and this way we get both sides of the coin. So, first thing I found really interesting was that this episode is a lot about Korra's psychological state. And we learned that Korra is extremely frustrated and irritated at herself when she first began her recovery. Korra reads a letter from her friends, and she learns that her friends are moving on with their lives as if nothing had happened. Bolin is now with Kuvira reuniting the Earth Kingdom. Mako is back being detective and helping Prince Wu. Asami has a new contract with the city. So her friends are moving on with their life. They have exciting things happening. And they're living as if nothing had happened, as if the world is normal. While Korra is, she's kind of stuck. She is hurt emotionally and physically. She feels insecure. Korra just does not feel well, especially when her friends are doing so well. So I'm sure she's happy for her friends, but it's just the fact that she feels alone and she feels like she is stuck. So Korra is also very frustrated at her slow recovery. She has physical immobility, which means a lack of control. So, for example, other people are taking care of her. Korra is also perhaps scared of her inability to protect herself. She has nightmares of the fear hurting her. She's generally afraid of being unable to protect herself when she needs. So she's afraid of her lack of control and her inability to do what the Avatar should do to protect other people and of course herself. So perhaps I think it's very likely that Korra also feels a deep sense of hopelessness. After all, she is the Avatar, and the Avatar's role is to be strong and mighty. Well, maybe mighty is not the right word, but at least strong, both spiritually and physically. And Korra, well, at this moment, she's probably thinking, gosh, I can barely walk. I'm not even strong physically. And my state of mind, I'm having nightmares. Oh, am I even doing the right thing that an avatar should be doing? So Korra feels this hopelessness. And obviously, she feels alone because nobody else understands how she feels. Her friends try to help her, yet her friends do not really know how she is feeling. And Korra herself does not understand why she had to do so much things. Like, why was it her job? Why was she the Avatar? And as a result, why did she have to stop Amon, who wanted to do away with all benders, especially the Avatar? Unulak, who wanted to also kill the Avatar and conquer the world, and Zephyr. Oh, by the way, Zephyr sounds a lot like Zephyr, which means a light wind. And why does Zephyr want to kill her? So she does not understand why she is the Avatar and she has these enemies. Why does it happen to her? A feeling of hopelessness and aloneness. Also, let's remember that Korra is cut off from all her previous avatars. So she, from a spiritual perspective, is alone. She would like to have help from her avatars, but she can't. So she's cut off and alone. So it's interesting to note that after Katara tells Korra that she was not the only one to feel so alone and felt alone when when he realized that his nation was destroyed. After Katara tells us to Korra, Korra feels better. She begins sparring with others. She begins practicing bending, and she can move. She can walk. So that was a problem for Korra. She a sense of aloneness, and Katara helped her solve that, and now she feels a lot better. So one of the topics that this episode touched on was about identity. Is Korra Korra, or is she the Avatar? Do people recognize her by her role or who she is personally? When Korra was unable to stop the thieves, the shop lady and the lobster seller doubted if she really was the Avatar. And they judged her based on her ability as opposed to her personal personal what is the right word? As opposed to her character. And in addition to humans doubting her, even some of the spirits doubted her. So surely Korra doubts her own ability once again to protect herself and to protect others and to fulfill her responsibility as the Avatar, to be able to protect everyone. Um, and one thing that Korra feels quite unsure of and uncertain is that Kuvira is reuniting the Earth Kingdom. This is her job. She wants to reunite the kingdom. She is the Avatar. And the world is out of balance. She's the one to give balance. And Kuvira is doing this. So I'm sure deep down she feels a sense of lack of responsibility. Maybe even running away from responsibility, but even though Korra knows that she needs to heal. But anyways, that's my thought about this episode, identity and Korra's state of mind. So something interesting to note. Near the end of the episode, I think middle way through, actually, Korra cuts off her hair. So this is very similar to when Zuko cut off his hair. And with this, and after Zuko cut off his hair, Zuko completely changed. Okay, he did betray his uncle, but then he still changed. So we can expect Korra will change as well. Also, who is the other avatar? Like, who is the avatar state of Korra that Korra keeps seeing, and why does she show up? At first, I thought it was just Korra's imagination, but no, it turned out that this avatar, Korra avatar, is actually real because she dragged the real Korra onto the ground in the swamp. Oh, by the way, speaking of the swamp, I wonder if that's the same swamp that Aang went to in I think the second season in book 2, and the same swamp where he saw the vision of Toph. Well, interestingly enough, this is also where Korra meets Toph. And yeah, Toph is alive. So just why is Toph in a swamp? Like that just seems kind of interesting. Why is she in a swamp? Maybe it's to fulfill her enlightenment. But anyways, it's pretty neat. Toph is alive. She's a wonderful earthbender. This plot seems to be about the Earth Kingdom. So I think we can see Toph later playing a big role in this season. So these are my thoughts about the second episode of Korra. Thank you for listening.